is Nancy Johansson. Nancy, last time we were standing here, it was much warmer for the North America Cup, but now you are back with 6 horses in the Breeders' Crown Final, so we'll start in the Open Mares Pace. Kissin in the Sand. How has she been? What are your thoughts?
She raced really good actually in her last start in Lexington. I was really happy with her. You know, she finished second to Caviar Alley and Chardonnay there. So I think she's starting to come into form a little bit. It's tough for these 4-year-old mares, especially the ones that had a tough season at 3, to kind of acclimate to the open mare ranks. But I feel like she's starting to really kind of get into form. I trained her here at Mohawk on Friday, and she trained really good. I was really happy with her training miles. So I think she's coming into the race pretty good.
Post 7, any fear there?
She's never drawn a good post when it counted in her entire life. She had the 9-hole last year and was parked every step of the mile and lost a head. So, you know, I think if any horse is used to having bad post draws, it's her.
All right, so we'll move on to Open Mares Trot. Post position 4, Manchego.
Yeah, Manchego's just been on fire recently. She raced really good in her elimination. She was completely under wraps. She never had her plugs pulled or anything. Like Dexter Dunn said to me when he came back to the winner's circle, complete training mile. So hopefully he got a good training mile into her because, you know, obviously the final is going to be a little bit tougher. But she's just super.
So a horse like Manchego, is there anything specific that goes into preparing her for something like the Breeders' Crown?
You know, she's a pro at this point. You know, she's been in the Breeders' Crown. At 2, she won the Breeders' Crown at Hoosier Park when my dad trained her, and then, you know, last year she raced in the Breeders' Crown as well. So she knows how to race. There isn't really much that needs to go into her. Mainly it's just to keep her happy. She's become a little bit of a diva in her older age, but I think she's really confident and comfortable in herself right now. So nothing really that I need to do with her.
Yeah. Captain Crunch, 2019 North America Cup winner, post 2, better than post 8, which what he had in the NA Cup.
Yeah, you know, I'm happy with the post position draw. He drew inside of, you know, Better's Wish, which, you know, I think it will help. And even Dancing Lou raced really good last week. So I'm kind of happy with the draw. It gives Yannick some options. You know, he's quick off the gate if you need to be, and, you know, you can take him back if you need to be. He's actually pretty easy to drive as far as that. He's manageable. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting final there.
Any equipment changes?
I'm actually going to change his bridle. He's going to race with cups with holes for the first time in his life ever. He's always raced with a blind bridle, but I feel like now he needs to see the horses coming from behind a little bit more, so hopefully that'll, you know, sharpen him up a little bit.
Okay. 3-year-old Colt Trotter, post 2, Don't Let Him, a horse that's starting to figure things out, you mentioned?
Yeah, he's my, like, problem child. It's like you never know what you're going to get. I always like hear the Eminem song, "With a real Slim Shady, please step up." Like, we're the real, don't let him please just come out. So he's super fast. I mean, he obviously showed that tying the Canadian record last week. You know, I feel like if he's on his A game, he's the only horse in the race that really can give Green Shoe a run for his money.
Right. So a horse like him, because of the way he is there anything specific that would go into preparing him for this race?
So with him, like, mainly we just try to keep him calm and quiet all week. You know, he walks a lot. When he goes out to jog, we try to walk him a lot, and he actually jogs really well with Manchego, so those two jog together. And, you know, I don't know, it's just mainly just keeping his head on straight more than anything else.
The Ice Duchess, post 1, 3-year-old filly trotters. What are your thoughts on her?
I thought she raced really good in the elimination. She's always had a little bit of trouble getting around this track. I know she won the Peaceful Way here last year at 2, and she was the O'Brien Award winner. But she's never really perfectly gotten over this track, and I feel like last week was the closest we've ever to having her completely perfect. Yannick said she felt safe the entire mile, and, you know, he had horse left at the wire. So I think I hope for good things for her this week.
Any training going on for her this week?
She'll train a little bit light tomorrow. She'll probably train a little bit with Don't Let Him. The two of them will train together. And, you know, she's been really sharp in training the last 3 or 4 training miles. So hopefully I'll see that tomorrow too. And she'll be prepared for this Saturday.
2019 Metro Pace winner, Tall Dark Stranger. Every girl wants. How's he been?
You know, he was a little flat the last 8th, 16th last week. He didn't fire as well as he really has before. We pulled a blood on him the next day, and his blood work was a little, well, it was a lot off actually. So, you know, we've had to treat him with some antibiotics this week. She definitely showed some sickness. So hopefully we've got that under control. You know, obviously the horse's well-being is number one. So if his blood work isn't perfect, you know, on Friday morning, or I guess Thursday before he goes to retention, you know, I have to make some decisions there. But I'm confident, he already feels much better. And we pulled another blood and his numbers are on his way down. So I feel like by Friday he should be fine.
So a horse like him, is there anything specific that would go into preparing him for this race?
Well, mainly now because he's had a little bit of sickness, you have to be a little bit careful about training him too hard this week because his body's, you know, coming over sickness. So, you know, we're just trying to keep him moving, but keep him, you know, get him healthy, number one, and hydrated, and anything that you need to do as a human to get healthy, you kind of need to do the same thing with the horse. And we switched his front shoes for the final. So I feel we put some aluminum shoes on him, and I think that, you know, they'll give him a little bit more reach. He has a lot of knee action, so maybe a little bit lighter shoes will make him a little quicker.
So Nancy, you've been here many times before. You're a staple in Grand Circuit racing, but what does winning a Breeders' Crown mean to you?
Well, you know, Breeders' Crown is kind of like the last man standing because they've all raced a tough season at this point, and it's kind of like who's left, who was tough enough to endure the entire season and still around. You know, it's a very prestigious race to win. I've been fortunate enough to win 2 Breeders' Crowns in 4 years of training horses, so hopefully I can add a couple this week would be great, but you know, it's a challenge to get it done. So there's a lot of great horses and drivers and trainers, and a lot of things have to come together to be able to do that.
Nancy, we wish you the best of luck. 6 starters, Nancy Johansson. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you.